can't even read. But I mean, when you, I like how they have him listed too as Donald J. Trump, opinion contributor. Because that's what I do. I attribute my opinion. Sorry. Opinion contributor. I like that. Oh, by the way, opinion contributor, totally my new cover band. Okay, so apparently Donald Trump, who wrote an op-ed, starts out the piece thusly. The Democrats want to outlaw private healthcare plans, taking away freedom to choose, while letting everyone across our border. We must win this. Let me get to that second part again. Taking away our freedom to choose plans, which is what I missed the first time, while letting anyone cross our border. I think it's very interesting that he's trying to pair immigration reform with healthcare reform. I mean, one has nothing to do with the other. But as a marketing ploy, it's very smart because for his base, that's exactly what they're afraid of. Now, let me read you the title of this piece. I wanted to get to that first line so you kind of get the tone of where this is going. But here's the title of this piece. Democrats' Medicare for All plan will demolish promises to seniors. Which is so ridiculous. Now, I'm going to read the first couple paragraphs to you. And should I read it as Trump? Because I'm not sure he actually wrote it, so I'll read it as him anyway. Throughout the year, we have seen Democrats across the country uniting around a new legislative proposal that would end Medicare as we know it and take away benefits that seniors have paid for their entire lives. Now, think about this. He's saying that a proposed system that would cover literally everybody in the country would somehow take away benefits from seniors. Now, I agree. It would end Medicare as we know it, and it would reinvent it as something much better. A single-payer healthcare system. But not only would it not take away benefits, it would expand benefits to seniors and to everybody. I mean, this is just nonsense. I digress. Let's continue. Dishonestly called Medicare for All, the Democratic proposal would establish a government-run, single-payer healthcare system that eliminates all private and employer-based healthcare plans and would cost an astonishing $32.6 trillion during its first 10 years. Of course, he fails to mention that currently we're spending $3.3 trillion a year. So, multiply that by 10 and see what number you get. And tell me if that's higher or lower than 32 trillion. Okay. As a candidate, I promised that we would protect coverage for patients with pre-existing conditions and create new healthcare insurance options that would lower premiums, lower them. I've kept that promise. Oh, that's a good line. And now we are seeing health insurance premiums coming down so low. Except that premiums are actually going up, way up. And in many places, he fought tooth and nail to have the pre-existing conditions taken away. Oh, not have the pre-existing conditions taken away, to have coverage for pre-existing conditions taken away. If he could actually take away the pre-existing condition, I'd give him some credit. I mean, he can't even take away his pre-existing condition. I also made a solemn promise to our great seniors to protect Medicare. First of all, I've met American seniors. They're not that great. Just look at how they vote. That is why I'm fighting so hard against the Democrats' plan that would eviscerate Medicare. Democrats have already harmed seniors by slashing Medicare by more than $800 billion over 10 years to pay for Obamacare. Also not true. The Republicans are the ones who are trying to cut Medicare. Likewise, Democrats would gut Medicare with their planned government takeover of American healthcare. What does he think Medicare is, by the way? It's government healthcare. The Democrats' plan means that after a life of hard work and sacrifice, which he knows nothing about, seniors would no longer be able to depend on the benefits they were promised. Yeah, they would get better benefits. By eliminating Medicare as a program for seniors and outlawing the ability of Americans to enroll in private and employer-based plans, the seniors enrolling in private and employer-based plans, they're retired. They don't enroll those. They enroll in the government plan, which would be better under Medicare for all. This is ridiculous. Okay. And so basically you get the idea of what he's saying about Medicare for all. Now let me get to the end here. So this is where, much like many of Trump's speeches, it takes a weird turn. So we were talking about Medicare and healthcare, and he was laying out his stupid points. But then it goes to this. Democrats want open borders socialism. Open borders socialism. What? It's like he looked in the Republican dictionary of scary, scary words and just threw a dart at two and then was like, those are the scariest. Open borders and socialism. Where people might share stuff with brown people. That sounds scary. So here's what he had to say. The truth is that the centrist Democratic Party is dead. The New Democrats are radical socialists who want to model America's economy after Venezuela. So it's good to know that Donald Trump's intellectual arguments are about the same as a troll you'd meet on Twitter or Facebook for our older listeners. Sorry, I'm just kidding. If Democrats win control of Congress this November, vote. By the way, watch us on Twitch. We'll be covering that. We will come dangerously closer to socialism in America. Sorry. I was just basking in the idea of socialism in America. By the way, this is really hard to read. This is killing me. I'll admit, though, I do like doing the impersonation, even though I don't sound anything like him. Okay, so here's where he ties it back into government-run healthcare. Government-run healthcare is just the beginning. Democrats are also planning massive government control of education. Massive government control of education, the thing that's already public. I know. Private sector businesses and other major sectors of the U.S. economy. Which, no, they're not. I wish they were, actually, but they're not. Every single citizen would be harmed by such a radical shift in American culture and life. Virtually everywhere it has been tried, socialism has brought suffering, misery, and decay, unlike capitalism, which has been so good to me and like 12 of my friends. And by the way, that's bullshit because he's just talking about, like, Venezuela wasn't even socialist. It's like, they had some socialist rhetoric. And like Cuba was not socialist. If anything, they were attempting a form of communism, and it ended up just being an authoritarian dictatorship. And then he, and then he goes back. Again, he was talking about open border socialism, and now he's back on healthcare. Indeed, the Democrats' commitment to government-run healthcare is all the more menacing to our seniors and our economy when paired with some Democrats' absolute commitment to end enforcement of our immigration laws by abolishing immigration and customs enforcement. Nobody's ever said that. They're not going to end enforcement of immigration laws. Nobody has ever said that. And yes, we do want to abolish ICE. But this country got along for a long time without ICE. It's only been around since the Bush administration, the second one. That means millions more would cross our borders illegally and take advantage of healthcare paid for by American taxpayers. Seriously, Canada already has socialized medicine. Do they have a giant influx of illegal immigrants? No. It's ridiculous, this idea. Today's Democratic Party is for open border socialism. Boo! Did I scare you? Good. This radical agenda would destroy American prosperity. Under its vision, costs will spiral out of control. Taxes will skyrocket. And Democrats will seek to slash budgets for seniors' Medicare, Social Security, and defense. No, they won't. No, they won't. And we should be cutting defense spending. Republicans believe that a Medicare program that was created for seniors and paid for seniors their entire lives should always be protected and preserved. Yeah, that's why they're trying so hard to cut it right now, because they think it should be protected. I'm committed to resolutely defending Medicare and Social Security, even though the Republicans in the House are trying to take a blowtorch to both. Okay? From the radical socialist plans of the Democrats, for the sake of our country, our prosperity, our seniors, and all Americans, this is a fight we must win. And that's the end of the op-ed. It was unhinged lunacy. But ever the seemingly king of social media as far as the members of the Senate go, an old grumpy senator from Vermont had a response video for Donald Trump. Oh, I love videos. My favorite part, they don't have words. Oh, fuck, this one has words.
Donald Trump lies a whole lot. He wrote a op-ed for USA Today that had two parts. In the first part, he dealt with Medicare for All, an attack on the legislation that I've introduced. In that one section alone, he makes 19 separate lies. 19.
That's a lot of lies for, I think the whole thing is like maybe 8 paragraphs, and they're short, 2 or 3 sentences.
Lies in half an op-ed. That's quite a feat. But let me just deal with some of the lies. Trump starts off by saying that the Medicare for All bill that I introduced would take away benefits from seniors who are paid into the program for their entire lives. Take away benefits. That's a big lie, because what our program is very clear about. We expand benefits. We provide what Medicare currently does not do. It adds coverage for dental, expands coverage for vision, for eyeglasses, and it expands coverage for audiology and hearing aids. It lowers the cost of prescription drugs, and it limits out-of-pocket expenses. Secondly, he says that we are dishonest when we name our program Medicare for All. Truth.
Which is crazy, because it's literally a program that's going to cover everybody. Literally medical care for everyone. Medicare for all. It kind of is catchy.
There is nothing dishonest about it. Right now, as everybody knows, we have a very strong public health program called Medicare, which covers people 65 years of age or older. Our program, in fact, covers Medicare for all. Phases in a 4-year period. At the end of the 4 years, every man, woman, and child in this country would have Medicare health insurance. Trump says that the bill costs an astonishing $32.6 trillion during its first 10 years. Well, that is one estimate of what it costs. Other estimates are in fact lower. But what he forgets to tell you, that even with that $32 trillion, that is less than would be spent on healthcare as a nation if we maintain the status quo.
I already said that, Bernie, but thank you for reiterating my point.
The Medicare for All, almost everybody agrees that healthcare spending would go down in America. Trump says that he has promised to protect coverage for patients with pre-existing conditions. Well, that's kind of funny. The one legislation right now that protects people from insurance companies denying them coverage because of pre-existing conditions is the Affordable Care Act. And Trump and his friends work day and night trying to end the Affordable Care Act. Trump says, I also made a solemn promise to our great seniors to protect Medicare. That is why I'm fighting so hard against the Democrats' plan that would eviscerate Medicare. Really? Oh my goodness. Well, I thought that it was Trump's budget that would have cut Medicare by $500 billion.
$500 billion, okay? His own budget. Look, I've never read a word of that budget. I don't read words. I have one book, The Art of the Deal. Beautiful book, beautiful book. I've never read any word of a budget. It was written by an Amish, somebody I don't know, okay?
Over a 10-year period, on top of cutting Medicaid by $8 trillion over a 10-year period. Trump in his op-ed says, quote, we are now seeing health insurance premiums coming down. End of quote. Well, in some parts of the country, that's true. But the reason they're coming down is they went way up because